Welcome to the Happiness Podcast. I'm Dr. Robert Puff. Have you noticed a change recently in our world? We're busy, we're stressed, we're rather overwhelmed. Life is getting expensive, life is getting hard. In response to this chaotic world, I'm seeing two default settings. We're either grinding away at work, tying our worth to our achievements, or we're numbing ourselves to escape the stress. It's just not unusual these days to see people working so hard, having 12, 14-hour days every single day, and then exhausted on the weekends. And these aren't just brain surgeons or high executives. This is true for a lot of us. And then on the other end of the spectrum, we see people who are equally overwhelmed, but their way of dealing with it is to numb themselves. They may play video games for 14 hours a day, or wake up to a joint or a glass of alcohol and keep it going all day long. Sadly, with these frenetic, busy, distracting activities, we've completely lost the art of play, doing something for the pure joy of the experience with no goal, no monetization, and no numbing effect. Today, I want to argue that life, the universe, doesn't need us to be a manager, a millionaire, a master of industry, or to numb ourselves. The universe wants us to experience the joy of existence. I want to use an analogy between a parent and a child to help illustrate the thesis of this podcast today. But before I go on, I do want to add, when I use the word universe, I'm just trying to be respectful to everyone listening. If you prefer, you could put in the word Jesus, God, Spirit, Source, Buddha, Krishna, the One. Please do that, because in today's podcast, we are going to be referring to the highest power of all to help us understand how play is an essential part of the universe or God's mission for us. So if you are a parent right now, or if you ever plan on being a parent, I want to ask you, what do you actually want for your very young child? Do you want them to balance your checkbook? Do you expect them to match your intellectual capacity? Of course not. The greatest joy of any parent is simply watching their child play, laugh, and be fully alive in the present moment. There's nothing that child could do to impress their parent. They may encourage them when they take their first step, but the parent isn't impressed by their ability to take their first step, and they may encourage that step, but the parent can run circles around the child easily. But seeing their child laugh, giggle, and playing, discovering the world around them, is the greatest joy of any good parent. Why would we think the creator of the universe is any different? God doesn't need our accomplishments to keep the universe running. Perhaps God gets the greatest joy out of watching us enjoy the sandbox. I want to share personally how I came to this conclusion. Though I've been driven in life to succeed and do well in my career, I've also always, during my entire adult life, made time for quietness, meditation, and personal retreats. And I've found when I get very quiet, it's like the world, the universe, God, speaks to me very clearly. And the message, the profound message that I've been receiving over and over again, is the universe doesn't want me to work harder or save the world. The message is simple. You need to play. And over the years, I've learned this message isn't unique just to me. It perfectly aligns, for example, with the concept of Lila in Hinduism, which translates to play or sport. But I believe it's true in every faith. In my own tradition that I grew up with, Jesus said, "Truly I tell you, unless you change, become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Therefore, whoever takes the lowly position of this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven." We're so inculcated from our culture to achieve, to be impressive, and this will make the difference in our lives. And if we don't do that, then we have to numb ourselves because we failed. But how do we impress God? A good parent really loves their children, and when they're younger and have so much less ability than the parent, the greatest joy the child can give is laughter, play, loving their life. Is it perhaps true that when we play, we're in our most divine state? How would this change our lives if we lived this way? We often think of Albert Einstein as the ultimate achiever, a brain constantly grinding, but he was deeply devoted to play through his violin, Lila. He wasn't trying to achieve or make money from his music. When he would get stuck on a complex physics problem, he wouldn't force himself to work harder. He would stop, pick up Lila, and play Mozart. His play wasn't a distraction from his work. It was how he tuned into the frequency of the universe. He engaged in the divine dance, and physics followed. Have you ever heard of Mary Oliver? She was a Pulitzer Prize-winning poet who made a career out of divine play. Her daily routine was wandering through the woods, looking at grasshoppers, and wading in ponds. She didn't walk to burn calories. She walked because the world is a playground of miracles. As she wrote, "Instructions for living life. Pay attention. Be astonished. Tell about it." The universe has given us all beautiful sandboxes. By simply paying attention to the sand is a spiritual act. Or how about the beautiful hobbits in Lord of the Rings? While the men in the story desired power, the dwarfs desired wealth, and the elves desired legacy, the hobbits just wanted to garden, eat 6 meals a day, and laugh with their friends. Tolkien intentionally made them the heroes. Because their souls were already full of simple play, the corrupting power of the ring couldn't easily take root in them. Or how about Aang from Avatar, the last airbender? Though he was the most powerful being in his world, burdened with stopping a global war, yet he was fundamentally a kid who wanted to ride a koi fish and invent games. Others in the story keep telling him to take his job seriously, but the story reveals his playful spirit is the exact source of his profound spiritual power. Playfulness keeps our hearts soft in a hard world. But I do need to make a distinction between play versus numbing. Many adults confuse numbing with playing. Scrolling social media for hours or binge watching television to escape reality, it drains our souls. Playing involves gardening, painting badly, recreational sports, or wrestling with our kids. It's an engagement with reality that fills our soul. The opposite of play is not work. The opposite of play is depression. If we believe in a higher power, this should make sense. We can't impress some being infinitely more intelligent, powerful than we are. But if that being, God, loves us, the greatest joy we could give God is play. But let's say we don't even believe in God or a higher power. It still would make sense that if we only have one chance to live, that the greatest gift we could give that one life is lots of play. So how do we actually get back to playing more with life? What are the steps that we can do right now to play more? The first thing we can do is create a useless audit. We look at our week and say, is there anything on our calendar that is completely useless in terms of money or status, but highly valuable for our joy? Schedule 1 hour of useless joy this week. We can also lower the stakes. We don't have to be good at play, paint terribly, sing off key. The goal is the feeling in the soul, not the quality of the output. And then most importantly, become the child. The next time we feel crushed by responsibilities, remind ourselves, I am a child in the eyes of the universe. My primary job today is to experience this life. We can do this throughout the day by just pausing, looking, feeling, laughing, playing. There's so many beautiful opportunities to play. But when we're so busy or we're too numb, we miss out on them. Accomplishments fade, resumes are forgotten, but the joy we cultivate in our souls echoes into eternity. The greatest gift God has ever given me is teaching me to play in life. It's made my life so much better. There's still struggles, there's still challenges, but with lots of time for play, life is so much easier. And my hope is today, by seeing the universe through different eyes, we'll give ourselves permission to play, to laugh, and to simply be, and hear the laughter and joy of the divine, saying, "Well done, my child." Thank you for joining me on the Happiness Podcast. If you'd like to learn more about the podcast, please go to www.happinesspodcast.org. That's happinesspodcast.org. Until next time, accept what is, love what is.